Alright, so this is an example showing you how to use TryParse, right? Now we use TryParse whenever we have a number variable, for example, dim a number as, let's say, decimal, and we are going to ask the user to enter some information, right? So this is a simple program. Ask you to enter a number. I'll tell you whether or not it's actually a number. And someone can say, okay, I can try and just put it in directly from whatever the user provides. Right. And the program would end .in.readline. Now the problem with this is if the user enters a real number, such as maybe 10, 22.3, that would work. But things like this or maybe that, right, will not work. It will cause the program to crash because it can't store the strings or something that's in a number into a number type. Right. So to demonstrate, let me just run this. Enter a number, I enter I. The program crashes. It says conversion from string I to type integer is not valid. It means you can't put it into the integer. And someone may say, oh, maybe it's because it's an integer. But even if, oh, sorry. I have to change the startup type. So it does my new module. I'm doing module, hey, where did my module 5? This thing is still doing this to me. It's very sad. Okay. So enter something, tell you if it's a number. If I enter IO, oh. Come on, what's it? Did it freeze? Oh, it already stopped. It says IO is a string. It's not a decimal. Right. So we need to be able to stop or prevent this type of error. Right. Now the way we do it is we will declare another variable that is going to be a string. You realize that strings do not crash, right? It takes anything that you put inside. So instead of putting it directly into the number, we'll first put it into the string. Right. Now that it goes into the string, then we'll try and test to see if the string, whatever is in the string, is actually what? A number. Now the way that we do that test, or to put it in, is to use TryParse. And we pass the string that we've used to get the input from the user. And then the second parameter is the actual number variable that we want to store the final result in. Right. And this means that if this works, so console.out.writeLine, number we got was & number. I'll just print the number so you see if we can get a number or not. So any questions at this point? Okay, so this thing here is a function call. It's just like read line or write line. It's one of the functions in the library of functions that you can use. So we didn't write all the functions that are in Visual Basic, but someone else wrote them so we can reuse. On Wednesday, we'll look at how we can also add more functions to this. But this is one of the useful functions that are available. It takes the first parameter, that's after the first bracket, the string, that variable, and comma, the second thing it takes is the number variable name. So this thing would automatically go through, check to see whatever is in the string, can I copy it and put it into the number? If it works, we'll put the value in. If it doesn't, at least it won't crash your program. Right.
So if the number was to be integer, the right integer,
yes. So it will try and get an integer from it, right? To see, can I get an integer from what you've written in? Right. So it's actually very useful, so that your program doesn't, oh, why did it just, oh, I guess we haven't, let me run this once and then I'll take your question. So now if I do this and I enter maybe 10, enter, say the number we got was 0, because it wasn't able to take TIN and turn it into a number. So that's what TryParse actually does. The string, comma, the number. That's what's there. And it'll try and run it and get you the result. To the, okay, so that's the next question, but everyone understand how we do the TryParse now? You have it? So before we add the Boolean part. So only number types. Number types are the only types where we worry about specific format. If it's a string, normally we don't really mind. Right? Maybe it's a name. But you can write your own functions. On Wednesday when we look at functions, you can see you can write your own that will return true or false based on what is in there, or to try and copy the value over. Say it again.
When it is a string, okay, you can't multiply it. Let's suppose the values.
So what she's asking is, what if someone is entering data and want to use it for something else? Maybe multiplication or addition. So what we are doing here is, we have the string variable. So you can think of it as the temporary, the unclean. And then what we do is, after we run TryParse, we are going to copy whatever is in TryParse, in this case S input, into a number, right? So that after we have copied it, then we'll use a number. We will not use S input again. We now have a number that we can use. So we can then do something like a number is equal to a number times 2 and so on. But we can't use S input, as you rightly said, because it's a string. But the trick here is, you put it into the string, copy it using TryParse into the number variable. Not always a number. You can have many variables. You can just call TryParse each time and just copy your data in. And then when you finish, you can use the data in your calculation. Right. So, question?
So in this situation, if you want to put it an error message, how would you do that?
Okay, so that's the Boolean question. So, TryParse returns a value. So dim my success as Boolean. Now, a Boolean such as this one can take true or false, right, in assignment. And TryParse actually returns true or false, depending on whether or not it was able to do the conversion. So in order to print an error message, we can use the if my success is equal to true. I'm being verbose here, but I think you get the idea. Good job, I got a number. Right. Else console.out.writeLine bad user tried to crash my program. So you can use, so this TryParse actually has that's the dual use. That is, aside from the converting, it's also trying to tell you whether or not it succeeded or failed. So I can actually print a suitable message. Right, your question?
When you're creating the Boolean variable, you have to break it down with true and false.
Oh no, yeah, that was just an example to show you how you assign values in, what actually is going into it. So you don't have to assign true or false. Actually, that was useless. I was just showing you can assign the words true. No, it's not actually a word. Boolean true false is like a binary, like on off. So the symbol TRUE. Note that this is not. Sorry. This is not the same as this. One is a string. One is the value true. Okay, so any questions on TryParse? So there are many things that are actually going on here. I will wait till I discuss the functions before. Okay. Index of. Sorry. All right, so this is to-car array. We've not discussed arrays yet, right? But what actually, so we can, once we look at functions, we can discuss this further. A string just contains what? Several characters, right? Like if someone enters TIN, it contains T, it contains I, it contains N. To check to see if something is a number, just means that if you can break this down into pieces, you can then check, is this one 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 up to 9? Then you check the next character, right? So someone actually wrote that function. We can try and write that on Wednesday. So once he goes through all, then you can say what? If he goes through and everything is a number, as a real, like one of those numbers, he can return true, meaning that he has checked it. Everything is a number. He didn't find anything like A, B, underscore, right? So it's like magic in the background. But the thing is, sometimes when we go a little bit deeper, then you can see, okay, how could it happen? But how it could happen is, you have all the characters, A, B, C, D, that are in a string. You can go through them one by one to check to see that each of them is actually what? A number, right? So we'll look at that on Wednesday. So for now, don't worry about what's happening inside of it. You can do it once you know what function to use and how to actually go through the characters. We are leading to that because you saw there was a loop. We did loop today, showing us that we can go through something a certain number of times. So using that knowledge, on Wednesday we can actually go through a word, pick a character at a time, and then what? Show you, and then you can check. Is the first character a number? Is the second character a number? So you can do that check and return true or false. Right, so that's what someone did for us.